You are listening to a We the Nerdy podcast.
Let's face it, as Nintendo fans, we are often left slightly disappointed and scratching our heads asking why. Where is our Super Mario Galaxy 3? Why isn't Metroid out yet? Bring back the Ice Climber, seriously, and what were you thinking of the Virtual Boy? Well, sit back as Sean Capri and Bobby Pauls do just that. That's right, this is If We Ran Nintendo. Now, cue the music, maestro.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 42 of If We Ran Nintendo. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, and yes, I am joined by the greatest co-host in all of podcasting, Sean Capri. What is up, Sean?
Hi, Bobby. It's nice to see you. We love each other still.
We do love each other. We got to get that. We got to get that out of the way. All right. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people think we're mad at each other. A lot of people think that we hate each other.
Some people would think that a podcasting couple could never recover from the tumultuous reveal of the Switch.
From telling each other to F off, both of us.
Did I tell you to F off?
Yeah, you did.
Yes,
you did.
Use the F word.
You were like.
Did I say F you? I can't.
I don't think you said F you.
I can't. I don't know.
I don't think either of us said F you to each other.
No,
both of us just said the F word. Yeah.
And but if we did, we were just a little anxious.
Well, you know what? I went back. I didn't
listen to it. There's
okay.
No way.
Oh yeah, I did. It's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as you think it is.
Because I would know when it's coming.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, like when you. So I had the opportunity to watch the video.
Yeah, well, you had to edit it.
Yeah, I had to edit it. So in that editing, I realized something that was going on, and that's when I sent you a message and apologized because I saw what was going on. You took it upon yourself to start trolling me. To some degree. Because if you watch the video, I'm looking at the monitor to the left, and I'm looking up information. And you got this grin on your face, and you start saying stuff. But you could tell, like, you might be taking a little step further than you typically would. I don't know, that's the impression I got. Because then every time I look back, the smile disappeared.
So I think that you sent me that picture, and I thought that was really funny, and I wish I could give myself credit for that. But if I remember correctly, what I was smiling about was that it wasn't that I would be saying anything that I wouldn't normally be saying. Mm-hmm. Like everything that I said, I truly believe, and I truly like that was my gut reaction to it. But I know that if I say something, that you're gonna be upset by it, or you already are getting upset by it, or something like that. I could feel. I have a high emotional intelligence, Bobby.
But I wasn't getting. So the part where I got upset was like when
I don't want to intentionally upset you.
Yeah, no, I know that. But the part that got me upset, and that's when I finally was like, "What the f?" But when you were like, so what made you enjoy this presentation? And I go through a list of stuff, but I'm just rapid firing, quick, go through it. You're like, yeah, that's about 10 seconds worth of stuff. So what? And I'm like, and that just was like, I was like, boom. Like at that point, I was just like. No, nonsense, man.
So my goal with that question was, and I can't remember who I was saying, because I'll get into the shows. I had a lot of support. I have to tell you, I have a whole lot of
yeah. Oh, dude, that's obvious.
So what I was saying to some of them, and I want to just say here, is like I just wanted to. It may have come across as like absenteeism or I don't know what, but like some form of just trying to back off. I just wanted to get out and let you guys talk about the positivity. I wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
And you kept piling on, like, I can't believe you're so blah, blah. I'm like, okay, then tell me. Tell me why this is so great. I'll be back here. And I literally, like, I'm physically
I know, and I can see it. No, but it's many times in the video you do that. Yeah.
I just want to hear it. And don't, like, make it last longer than
And I think
seconds.
the problem, you know what, but I think.
Blew your load so quick, Bob.
But I think the problem was I think Toby and I were just so blown away that you were like, I'm not going to pre-order it now.
It was so funny because, like, the same reaction for me, too. Like, I felt like when you guys were both like, I'm definitely pre-order. I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Well, so here's my thing, okay? And And I'm going to call Mark Harabin out now for this because I did the next day. Mark and I had a conversation the day before or the day of the announcement. And Mark says to me, I cannot wait for tonight. I don't care about games. I don't care about specs. I just want to know price and when it's coming out.
Yeah.
He got that. But he then takes it upon himself.
That price.
But that's not the thing. But then he takes it upon himself to like tear it apart. And I said to him, I was like, dude, earlier you said you didn't care about price. The only thing you wanted to know was how much it was going to cost and when you could get it. You didn't care about games, and you didn't care about specs.
That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was.
So for me, and I said to Mark, my response to Mark was, I don't care about games either. I don't care about specs. I know what the thing does. I just want to know price, release, can I pre-order it now? And that's all I cared about. Was the presentation done well? Not at all. There was dead spots in the presentation. There was, and we'll get into all this in a bit, but there was dead spots in the presentation that I felt shouldn't have been there. You have Sega come out and talk about we're supporting, we're doing this, we're doing that, and then that's it. But yet, after the presentation happens, you announce Sonic Mania is coming. Yeah. To me, that made no sense. If you're going to waste my time and stand in front of there, just go, Sega's making a game for it, and here it is. Boom. That's all you had to do. But he's sitting there talking about it, and then Grasshopper or Pseudo 51.
That was brutal.
That was stupid. That was dumb. And that guy should have never been on the stage. So when I look at that, but like for me, like when I looked at ARMS, I felt like that was very important to show ARMS, to show the HD Rumble in, and that's the thing that people aren't getting, is they showed you things as well that were important, but people I think are focusing on the boring parts more than the parts they did show that were interesting, because that HD Rumble, to me, in the Joy-Cons, explains a lot of why these things are so expensive. And you know, when I was watching Treehouse Live the next day, they were like, when we're playing ARMS, when you throw a punch, it feels like the ribbon is unraveling off your hands. And they're like, I can't explain it other than that. It's weird. You have to feel it to know. And I was like, man, that's kind of cool. It's different because but then when you take that and you put it with the guy showing the glass of ice and he's shaking it, it makes sense. There must be a couple rumble sections in there. And as, like, when you throw the ribbon, so what I'm figuring is the Joy-Cons in your hand, and as you throw the ribbon, it must rumble bottom, middle, top, middle, bottom, middle, top, middle, bottom. Like, it must feel like it's coming out of your hands. And that, to me, is, like, that's cool tech. That's
and
cool.
I'm right there with you. I know a lot of people are slamming on these Joy-Cons, and the return of, it seems, motion control seems like a bad thing. Honestly, I think these Joy-Cons look tremendous. Yeah. And it does come from a place, you haven't played Xbox One yet, but they've got separate rumbles in the on each side of it, the left and right bumpers, and it makes a huge difference. You're playing a game like Forza and you're going around a corner, and as your right tire is just going over like the rumble strips, you can feel the rumble. That's cool. In Halo, there's a level where you're in like this mech, and as the left foot stomps, I actually did that with my right foot. Yeah, so you can feel it. Like, it's just, I actually really like, and I want there to be more innovation with Rumble. I think sometimes it just feels like, and now it's buzzing in my hand. And so I like that this is something that we recognize as being innovative back in the day, and we haven't really seen too much come forward with that. So I want to see more with that, Bobby.
And just so people know, like, this is going to be a little different episode than normal. Like, I want to kind of go through the conference a little bit and kind of break it down of what my issues were with it, and then rebuild the conference the way I feel and we feel it should have been done better. Because as much of a Nintendo fanboy as people might think I am, and as much as I cheer for Nintendo, I do feel like the conference was not good. Do I feel like people that are saying that it was worse than PlayStation Pro are correct? Absolutely not. There's no way that this was worse. And there was people like Shokio, who's a YouTuber, who was saying it was the worst press conference reveal ever. You're an idiot. Straight up. This was not the worst ever. I've seen worse. The Wii U was worse. You know what I mean? Like, when you walked out of the Wii U, nobody knew what it did. Everybody knew what this did. So that, to me, is just, you're playing off of the hate and all that stuff.
It also ignores the fact that it was a Japanese presentation.
Yes.
And I think that they're, like, was it the right choice to do that? No. But the fact that it was, you almost can't equate it to any other presentation. So there's some leeway that we have to give there as well. And I just think that people have to have a measured and rational approach to this, which I think we all, like us in our community, I think that we do. But sometimes you just hear like one thing and it's like, bah! And you have this like guttural reaction. And I just want to, like, we can talk, we can fix it today, Bobby.
Yeah. And the one thing, because I was watching Phoenix Overdrive last night, and Ray was really hitting Nintendo hard. Like,
he's posting every bad news headline.
And it's like, dude, relax. I was kind of going back and forth with him last night. I was in chat and he was talking, and it was the one time ever I wanted them to invite me on a podcast that minute, because I was like, so people are, and we got into this. You heard the Geekcast. We got into a little bit with Jules and stuff, and it's like, well, why is there a phone app for voice chat? Well, this thing is portable and home. You don't know.
That was really smart. Was that Mark who came up with that? I think it was Mark Caravan.
I said that. I said that.
I think it was Mark.
No, about the portable and home? No, because I said, no, Mark was the one saying.
No, troll it.
Yeah.
He was saying that for the reason that it was separate on your phone was because it was, your phone is always connected to the internet, but the Switch isn't.
No. No, that was me, because that was Jules that was like, because then Jules was like, no, that's a valid point, because your phone is always connected, and your Switch isn't going to be. And
trying to give you credit, Mark. Sorry.
Yeah, don't give Mark credit. Mark was just as bad as Ray.
That was a great podcast, by the way. Geekcast this week was awesome.
It was good. It was great to have Jules in there, because I felt like Jules could temper both sides, because he's taking it from a backside perspective. Like, he sees behind the scenes a little bit, so he has a little bit more better take on what's going on than any of us. So we could say what we feel, but then you get the business side where Jules is like, yeah, but this is this, and then we could be like, oh no, this was great, and he's like, yeah, no, that wasn't great. They should have done it this way, because he was also calling Nintendo out on a lot of stuff too. So it was a really good episode. But the online, so the phone app to me doesn't bother me at all.
We haven't done shout outs, Bobby.
I know, we're all over. I said it's going to be totally different than normal. It's going to be totally different than normal.
I'm out of my I don't like change.
Well, it's a little different show. Listen, we're coming back off an argument, so we're trying to, I think I'm all a little discombobulated myself, so. All right, look. Let's kick this episode off.
There it is.
Like we do each and every episode with our shout outs.
Kick outs!
Sean, I'm gonna let you go with your shout outs, because you said you had a laundry list of them. You have all your lovers defending you.
Oh my gosh, this was unbelievable, and I love how I want to thank everybody for listening to that show so quickly, like so obvious that they listened to it instantly, whether they were with us on the live reactions, which was awesome, and they could actually see me go from way up here. I'm actually like, my head is above the top limit of my camera, to sulking down into my chair, to eventually just like I look like a pouting 5-year-old by the end of this thing. Yeah. And so to have people with us there was awesome. Having everybody listen to the episode
that was great.
So instantly was thank you so much. And then for people to come out of the woodwork and say, Sean, I just wanted to message you and just I want to know if you're okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, but and thank you so much. I mean, that does mean a lot. And then another person, are you okay? Are you and Bobby okay?
I know. I got that a lot.
So thank you, everybody. And
Toby yesterday, right? So yesterday,
Toby didn't care. Toby hasn't messaged me. No. He doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, listen. So yesterday, Toby.
So he's talking to you.
Well, we're on the episode together. Of course, he was talking to me.
Oh, sure.
So we recorded an episode of Nintendo Talk, 2 of them yesterday after we were done, and I said, Toby, we're going over the numbers of things, and I'm like, yeah, man, like I promoted the first episode, and we got this. I'm like, and just as a test, I didn't promote the second episode, and that's the episode you were on. And he goes, Bobby, did you not promote that episode because you're mad at Sean? And I'm like, what? I'm like, the episode aired days before we had the spat. Like, what are you talking about? I said, it was a test for me. I wanted to see what it would do. I had the first episode where I pumped it up. I wanted to see what it would do. And then the second episode was a test. Had nothing to do with me and Sean's argument. He's like, have you two talked? And I'm like, we talked yesterday. We told each other we loved each other. We told each other we were sorry.
I
like,
love it.
Stop, man. I'm like, it's fine. And then Justin Masson,
Yeah.
he texted
Justin Masson was over the top, man. He is so awesome.
He's awesome. But he texted
he
me.
apologized for himself.
Yes,
He's like,
I know.
I'm sorry.
Well, he texted me, right? And he's like, I think he wanted to come on the show to be a buffer today because I think he thought we were going to kill each other today. So he's like, hey, man, I'm free to be on the show this week. Because he doesn't realize we moved to Sundays. So he's like, I think he thought we were going to record tomorrow night, like we first started when we started the show.
Right.
And so I was like, well, we record tomorrow morning. And he's like, oh, I'm flying to Kansas City then. So I said, well, let me talk to Sean and see if we can switch it up. And then you're doing renovations, and you're not able to really shift your time. And I understood that going in. That's no big deal. So I told him, yeah, we can't do anything. I'm sorry. And he's like, please be nice to Sean. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Like, why am I the bad guy in all this? Like, but whatever. That's because I'm the Nintendo fan. Everybody's mad at Nintendo right now, and I'm taking Nintendo's side. That's all it is.
Maybe.
You're better looking,
Maybe
too. So go ahead. Shout-outs.
I have a long list here, and these are the people who message. And if I missed everybody, this is the thing about shows.
I know. Don't. Yeah.
So
if we miss you,
feel
we're
like there's
sorry.
More than this,
Yeah.
even still. But Justin Masson, thank you so much. He
Yeah.
came out. He's like, I'm sorry for what I did. I'm like, you didn't do anything. Jason Lacey, Johnny Casino, Adam Leonard from Megadads, Dave Moore, Chris McCracken, James Michael Ajewski. I know there are more of you guys.
Yeah.
But just so much support. It was very comforting to hear people say, I'm with you on this one. I'm sorry you had to go through. I wanted to come back you up. All of these different things. So, but very respectable. None of them said like Bobby's a jerk off. They just, and I think both of us now being almost 72 hours since, we've both come from our extremes.
Yes. Now we're down to level-headed.
I think we both
went like this, and now we're here.
The presentation was so bad.
Yeah.
It really doesn't deserve. To me, again, I still maintain it doesn't really deserve it. My pre-order, yet somehow I have a pre-order. I want
that's
to
my
be
thing.
rational in my decision making. In that, I don't want there to be none available and me going crazy because I had a reaction to the presentation. So at least now it's in 100% my control. I can cancel if I still feel like it's not going to be worth it. Yeah. But holy crap, Bobby, Zelda. That I thought the killer app was dead. I didn't think that could exist anymore.
It did it.
It really, and I have my pre-order.
And
I
for
have
people,
like a $30 pre-order for Wii U Zelda.
And for people that are going like, I'll just play it on Wii U. Go watch that. Go watch that IGN footage.
Graphics comparison,
dude. That is insanity.
And again, it's not even about specs. It's not about the visuals. The biggest thing, and this goes back to the tech. This is about me. I was upset about the games lineup and about what I have to look forward to. That's going to be pretty scarce on there. The system itself is what I am buying. Yeah. I can pick it up out of the dock and I can take it to bed. I can take it on the bus. Zelda on the bus. Holy crap. Yeah. This is the reason that I'm buying it.
So let me give my couple shout outs real quick and then we'll dive in.
Right. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Evilos. Dude, this guy is super supportive. Just amazing. I was shocked that he came and hung out with us the whole show.
Todd Oxtra. Sorry, Todd
Oxtra. Amber. She told me I should say her last name wrong, but whatever. Burley. I'm going to say Beerly. Is that it? Beerly?
I think so.
That's
my guess.
I don't know. But, and then all Stapleton and both Stapleton. Spencer was there the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Gabe was there. Jonathan Brown. Like, we just had a whole bunch of people.
Jonathan Brown's a dude.
Yeah, man. He's the man, dude. He told us before, he's like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to support. I love that dude. Straight up.
Jonathan Brown, hit me up. If you want to do a We the Gamer cast, we got to do that, man.
Yeah,
hit me up.
Set that up, definitely. So, let me explain myself a little better than I did that night. Because I think that night we both just had emotions flowing through us, and we weren't explaining properly. So
I explained perfectly well.
No, you didn't.
As Justin Masson, Jason Lacey, Johnny Casino, Adam Leonard, all Dave Moore.
You were just saying it was bad. You didn't give me a reason why it was bad. But that's fine. I don't want to get into all that. Here's why what I should have said to you when you said, why is it so spectacular that you would give your money and pre-order this thing? My feeling was this. I see what the thing does. At launch, day one, I know I'm only getting a couple games that I'll play. But with Zelda to me being the game of the year, at least a contender for 2017, you can't ask more than that. Like when PlayStation 4 came out, when Xbox One came out, they didn't give you a potential game of the year as day one. So for me...
Rise. Are you forgetting about Rise?
Was that on both?
I'm just kidding. That was on Xbox. It was terrible. Well, it was a 7.
Resogun. Come on.
Resogun is awesome.
But that's not game of the year caliber. Stop.
I know.
I know.
Now I'm trolling. Maybe that was a troll.
So my thing is when I looked at it, I was like, I know I'm getting this, definitely. And then a month from then, I get Mario Kart 8. That excites me because I love Mario Kart 8. You guys we just played the other day.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Good.
It's so good. So now if they're gonna throw in battle mode, which looks phenomenal. I look at it and I go, there's ARMS. I'm the one that's been screaming for months, we need new IPs. They're giving us a new IP, so how can I get mad about that? I look at that. 1-2 Switch really didn't do much for me. I'll admit that was... I wish they didn't waste as much time as they did on that, but I understand what they're trying to do. I get it. That's for... To me, that's more Nintendo speaking to the investors to say, like, this is why we need the tech we're giving. You know what I mean? Not so much. And that's almost to me like they were trying to create the killer app for this thing when they really don't need to. Zelda's enough to do it. And that would have been good and beyond. I looked at Splatoon 2. Dude, I'm a huge fan of Splatoon. Massive fan of Splatoon. So if you're giving me Splatoon 2, I'm excited for it. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm a huge fan of Xenoblade. So when I looked at the launch lineup for the 9 months, that got me excited. When I looked at, I could play it at home, I could play it on the go, I was sold. So for me, the boring part in the middle, it didn't bother me because I knew what I was going into because I didn't get caught up with what turned out to be BS from all the leak people. Mother 3. I mean, before the thing, I was like, if I get Mother 3, I'm going to freak out. I didn't get upset.
It's still coming.
Yeah, whatever. So when I looked at it and I said, I felt like I kept my excitement in check leading into this.
Are we in the topic or are you doing shout outs?
We're just talking. We're just talking overall now. We're done shout outs. We're just going to have a conversation for a little bit. So for me, I just felt like I'm explaining to you what I should have explained to you that night and I didn't explain to you that night. The reason why I was sold and I'm in on this and why I want this. For me, I love Nintendo games. Everything Nintendo puts out, I typically buy and love. Fire Emblem Warriors. I loved Hyrule Warriors. I know a lot of people didn't like that game. I loved it. So for me, I was like, I love Fire Emblem. I liked Hyrule Warriors. This is a win for me. So when I looked at big picture, what I'm going to get throughout 2017 from Nintendo, I'm excited. I'm not that person that goes, I have to have third parties on here. Do I want third parties? Yes, but I want third parties to get people like you, to get people like Josh Brandt, to get people like Ray Osorio, like all these other guys that are kind of like, I want the third parties to make them happy. If I get third parties, I'm fine. If I don't, I'm fine. Doesn't matter to me either way. Would I like to be able to play everything on this and play it on the go? Absolutely. But it doesn't make or break me. As long as I can play Mario on the go, as long as I can play Splatoon.
Well, we can agree that not even just pointing out who wants it and who doesn't, but that the third party support, we've talked about this 100 times.
They need it.
Is critical.
Yes.
It's not even just a nice to have. It is critical.
It's critical.
And that was really the piece that was most disappointing to me, not just for me personally, but for me as a Nintendo fan, because I want to see these guys succeed.
Yeah.
I want this to be, like I said, they don't necessarily need to be number one because PS4 is a monster, but they absolutely have to be number 2.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure that they even scratched up that high. I don't know that they can, like, Microsoft had a banner year 2016.
Mm-hmm.
They were full of desperation. They turned their ship around. PS4 has this huge momentum, and it's built on like exclusives don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted them to just try it. Just give
Yeah.
me a little more. And we'll get into
Yeah.
the things that I really wanted to see a little bit more. But the lack of third party was not just disappointing, but it was a little scary.
Yeah. And damn, sorry. I mean, I know you took a hard knock on Bethesda, and you basically took a shot at them when on the other podcast we did. But for me,
because I think Skyrim's not a fun game.
Yeah. And
but again, that's my personal thing. I think it's massive to have that game on the Switch.
But see, that's the thing. You've played it. Now, first off, Skyrim has a big following. Let's be honest. Let's be fair.
Totally, and I can separate myself.
Because, you know what? Fallout has a big following, and I'm not one of those people. But you know what? Mm-hmm. I definitely want to try Skyrim. I definitely want to give it a shot and go for it and play it. So for me, I'm like, this is coming. I'm going to buy it, you know? And I did buy Lego City Undercover. Has Been Heroes. I bought that. That game looks really good. That game looks fun.
Has Been Heroes does look really cool.
That's a GameStop-made game. GameStop.
They published it?
They're publishing that game. So,
good for them.
So for me, I look at it and I go, that's the thing. And EA, I feel like they dropped the ball with what they did. Because they did the same thing with the Wii U, and it was like, this is stupid. I feel like they should have just came out, showed a couple things they're going to put on there, and walked away. I was more disappointed with EA than anything.
And EA's had bad press conferences recently.
Oh, always, yeah.
So you put the two together, and you're just like, snore.
Yeah, that was bad. So let's start with this. I think we're both in agreement. Step one of this issue was they shouldn't have done Japan only. They should have broken it out to do Japan, United States, England, Europe, all at the same time. We all get our own, just like they do it, Nintendo Direct.
European presenters are up at 4 a.m. with a crowd that's half asleep.
But that's the other thing I would say is I would not do a stage presence. Nintendo has shown to this past that they cannot handle doing stage presence.
Okay, this is a great topic because I think they've shown that they can, and then they forget. Like, I don't know if it's just, okay, you take care of the first 20 minutes of this presentation, then somebody else, you go take care of the middle part, and then somebody else gets the last third. Yeah. Because the way that they were introducing the console, like, even though you and I knew exactly what it did, they did a little video to show what this thing is, very clear. And it was exciting, again, even though I knew exactly what this thing was. I'm like, oh, that's really nice. That's really slick, the little video. And even the tech in the Rumble Packs, the videos that they would say, let me show you something about this. And then they'd point to the screen and they would show us a little thing. I liked that back and forth.
That mixture was nice. That was, I'll admit, that was good.
So do that.
Yes. But when you brought,
stop doing that.
But when you brought Sega out, stupid. When you brought, what is it? Hoda 51 or whatever.
Grasshopper,
whatever. That was stupid.
That's all that they did.
Yeah.
They needed to have the same sort of presentation style. Say, I'm going to talk for about 30 seconds or introduce myself in the game that I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to show you rather than tell you. And that's kind of the point that I was making on the show too. Sega
should have been like, we're supporting Nintendo, and here we go. You've been asking for it. It's coming. Sonic Mania. Here it is. And then showed it. And done. Walked away. Capcom.
It's so strange too because this is a thing where like there's journalists, there's people who need to know the details in the crowd, and so the way that they delivered the information is much easier to digest the way that they delivered it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. But it's not exciting.
No,
because like I don't know if you ever tried to jot down notes during an E3 like the last PlayStation E3 where it's just games, and you're trying to just like, what was the name of that? Who made that? Who's the director of it? Yeah. When is the release date? It's impossible. It's very, very difficult. So I understand why you would do it this way, but it's just not a great way to hype up, especially after the trailer got us all very, very excited. Mm-hmm. And then this is when you're going to learn all about it. This was a mix of audiences.
Yeah. The other thing is I felt like take out Grasshopper, throw in Capcom, show off Bomberman, and show off Street Fighter, because I feel like that is like, I'm actually excited for Street Fighter because that's the Street Fighter I grew up on, and I'm like, they're actually making it better. You know what I mean? Like they're adding fighters to it. It's just a better. Like I'm like yeah. And Bomberman, that game looks awesome.
Bomberman looks sweet, and 8-player Bomberman apparently is unreal.
That's just crazy.
They're telling us they want to lean on the nostalgia, and the way that they don't just tell us that, show us. Put a video up and just have. You can almost just have a black screen and like Guile's music pop up, or Ken's stage, or just something like oh. And everybody would. Well, I mean, they're not looking to elicit that sort of reaction out of that crowd. So that's
the other thing. I want to say this because a lot of people were just like, "Oh, the crowd was dead. The crowd was flat." Blah blah blah. Has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're journalists either. Because that's the other thing that people are saying. Japan is a different culture.
Yep.
Go watch New Japan Wrestling. You will have 2 wrestlers in there going at it, and the arena is dead silent. They don't say. They actually will have. You will have people crying in the arena because the story that's being told in the match, that's what they're paying attention to. But go to a WWE match and they're going bonkers. And when you talk to guys that are wrestlers that have wrestled in Japan and wrestled in the United States, they say that the first few matches they have in Japan is just weird because they're not sure they're doing the job. If you have a flat crowd in the United States, you're failing. They're going to yank you off the. You're not going to. They're going to yank you off the tour. But in Japan, you have a flat crowd, and that's actually. And then they'll do like golf claps and stuff. Like it's not that crazy chaotic thing. Yeah, so for me to hear a quiet crowd during this, knowing that it was Japan, didn't bother me at all. And I was just like, okay, that makes sense.
It's a baseless complaint. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. It comes out of arrogance and ignorance.
When we talk about, so this is the other thing, and I want to get into, well, we'll wait on that because we'll talk about that later. So when you looked at that, like, so when I looked at it, it was kind of like, we're getting arms, I'm up, I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. 1, 2, 3, switch. It started to dive again because that trailer was weird. Like, it wasted a lot of time with that showdown, like the 2 people staring at each other. Stuff. And I was like, we can cut this. Like, just get into what they're doing. Like, you could have just made that better. Like, for Nintendo, who does trailers like that, they're normally very slick. And that moment just kind of was when the beginning of the buzzkill a little bit.
Well, because they led with that. It's about an order and a narrative that you have to present, and that's my biggest. That's what I would fix if we ran Nintendo. I would have fixed the narrative because there is no beginning, middle, and end. There started to be, but then it's like beginning and then just nothing. And so I wanted there to be okay. This is what makes the system unique. This is why you want the console and the tech. They did that. Then they show us some games that are unique to it. They did that as well. Then they needed to show and talk a little bit about the narrative of the third party. So I wanted there to be a huge recognition for EA, Activision, and Ubisoft. That they were able to connect those 3 and just go bam, bam, bam. The big boys are here. Here are some of the great games. Here's some footage from FIFA, Madden, NHL, cricket. I don't care.
Yeah.
EA is taking care of maybe a shooter or a Dragon Age port or something like. We know we're not getting Mass Effect, but something like EA is a huge publisher. So is Activision. Get a little of the games that
I think we're getting Fee from Zoink,
which is great news. But it's not those. It's not Destiny. It's not.
But here's the thing. Games. Well, yeah, but I think Fee is going to be. I think Fee is going to be a lot bigger than people are giving it credit for. Honestly, but I digress. The one thing that I would change with the way, if I was presenting, the one mistake I felt they made was I would have started with Zelda. We know Zelda is coming.
Do you think so? I don't think so.
I think that I would have.
It was the best possible way they could have ended it. That trailer was phenomenal.
Well, I would have. My feeling is one or the other. That's what I'm saying. One or the other. I would have either put Mario at the end, or I would have put Zelda at the end. But I would have put one at the. I would have bookended with Mario and Zelda.
I agree with you.
Either start or end, but that's the way you start. You get the crowd pumped up. Not that that's the crowd you're trying to pump up, but you get the people watching pumped up because you're like, oh my god, this is like. As much as people are complaining about Mario, I don't see it. Like, I don't see the issue with it. I think it looks great. I know that the people look a little creepy, but like when we were talking on the Geekcast yesterday, Toby was pointing out stuff. So was Jules. So was Mark. And it kind of feels like that might not really be... That might be a world.
That's what I was saying when we were watching, like in the live reaction. I'm like, I think this is going to be a small part of it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as big as people are making it out to be. I think they threw that in there because they thought, hey, this will kind of get people. It's kind of cool looking and stuff. And I think people are taking it worse than it really is. In my mind.
Yes. Such is the nature of giant games. When you see new footage, you're going to have polar different reactions.
But I also would have done, because what I was thinking in my mind was if you started with, if you started the show with Zelda, and then you go,
which we already know about. I can do your
start with Zelda because you already know about it, but maybe save the release date till the end. You know what I mean? Maybe then go, by the way, Zelda's coming. Boom, this is the date. Whatever. The next part I would have showed is Mario Kart 8. Then go into ARMS. Then go into Splatoon 2.
But you need to have what they did there. What is the console?
And I understand. No. But what I'm saying is like. I'm talking about just showing the game. So I would have maybe I would have done Zelda, then maybe showed the console stuff. Done 1, 2, 3 Switch.
Like here we are.
Jumped into Mario Kart 8. Because I felt like your big games were Mario Kart 8. And, I want to say this because it's been bothering me for 2 days now.
Oh, no, Bobby. Air it out.
Why are the leakers getting a free pass on this?
Are they, though? I don't think they are.
I don't know. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to it, but I'm still seeing people posting their stuff, acting like it's gospel. And it's like, dude, you were wrong on so much stuff. Zelda was supposed to be delayed. Not delayed. Mother 3 was supposed to be there. Wasn't there.
Really interesting.
Smash was supposed to be there. Smash was supposed to be there. Wasn't there.
I never heard that one.
I heard Smash. I heard Mario Kart 8 was supposed to be ported. We did get that. But it was supposed to be day one. It's not day one.
Yeah.
Splatoon was supposed to be ported. It's not a port. It's a sequel. It was supposed to be there. It was supposed to be there day one. Not there day one. So to me, it's like there's a lot of stuff that you got wrong, and it's like go away. Like stop, and not even go away. The people that are posting like it's gospel, stop. They misled you. And I feel like that was the other part of all this. That's why a lot of other people felt let down because they were like, well, where was this? Where was this? Where was this? And it was like, who you got to blame for that? The people that hyped it up and made it like it was going to happen.
Well, there's no denying there was a giant void and people are trying to fill it. So there's easy things to try and pick out to fill that void. So, man, what else can we even go with this? He
talked about the online service. All right, and I want to get into this a little bit.
All right.
Because I don't feel like he put enough time into online service. I felt like he brushed over that completely. And I felt like you should have spent a little bit more time on it, explaining what exactly it is. I don't need a price on it, because it's probably going to be $50 to $60. We know that going in.
I agree.
The monthly game download. Now, this is causing a lot of issue, and I want to kind of squash this if possible. So basically, each month we get to download and play a Nintendo Entertainment System game or a Super Nintendo Entertainment game with newly added online play, which is huge, I feel.
That's very cool.
And it's free for the month. And people are pissed because, well, I should get it for free, and I should keep it for free, and it should be mine forever. And the one thing that they keep saying is like PlayStation, like Xbox, it's mine forever. Those are yours forever as long as you keep paying the monthly service. Mm-hmm. The minute you stop paying that monthly service, it's no longer yours, and you got to go buy it again. So that needs to stop. You know what I mean? Now, should we get it as long as we're a subscriber? Probably, yeah. But you're talking about an NES game and a Super Nintendo game. What's it going to be, $4 or $5? I mean, yeah, you should probably get it for free, but you also don't know what else we're being given. To me, it's like a demo. It's like a trial. Here, try it for the month. If you like it, buy it. If you don't, done. I don't know how. Would you give them the game for the month, or would you give it to them for free after that, or how would you handle that?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm glad we're having this conversation because this is a complex issue. Because where are we at with games with gold and with PlayStation Plus games? Mm-hmm. They come out and people bitch and complain about how bad the games are. Well, guess what, guys? You've been getting on PlayStation, 6 games a month?
Yeah.
4 games a month on Xbox. You're going to start running out of top tier quality games. There's
Yeah.
only so many. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but there are more bad games than there are good games. It's just numbers. And so maybe that's Nintendo trying to manage like the quality of the service. It's in a weird way. Nintendo is always doing things in that weird way. But that's the benefit. That's maybe a little bit of fanboy in me saying, like, maybe this is why they're doing that. Would I give it to them longer? Yeah, I think that I would. And the thing that really is weird to me is that it is only NES and SNES.
And I think that's...
I want to see more Virtual Console. That was the biggest thing that was missing for me, but we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
But the online service thing, like, it's just bare bones. It feels like they haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah. And a lot of it feels like that because not only that, like, we get it for free in March up until the fall. In the fall is when it takes shape. I think in the beginning, it's going to be kind of like My Nintendo. It's there. It is what it is. You don't know what it is. And then
I think that's the smartest part of this whole thing is that they're giving a nice free trial. This is a very Japanese move of, we're sorry. Please understand that this is going to cost money. We know that you've got this for free for a while. That's a good move.
Yeah.
This could be worse, but this is nice that you get that free trial. But it does feel a little half-baked.
And then the exclusive deals, they're going to give you exclusive deals for digital downloads and all that stuff. I like that.
Yep.
The other thing that I feel that is catching some hate, but they didn't even talk about it, and it was very confusing, and I want to kind of like set it to the side, is the storage. So they didn't even talk about storage. I would have definitely talked about storage. I would have explained that it comes with 32 gig when you get it. Because I feel like you need to explain to people this is not the issue you think it is. And what I mean by that is, if you're going digitally, that's your option. We are upgradable, and you can upgrade up to 2 terabytes is what the thing can handle. Now, granted, 2 terabytes is not, you can't afford it right now.
That's an external hard drive.
No. Well, yeah, but they're saying we can support up to 2 terabyte micro SD cards.
Right. No, not micro SD. That doesn't exist. A 2 terabyte micro SD?
They're out, but you can't get them. They're so damn expensive. They're future-proofing themselves, essentially. Because Mark Caravan bought a 256, and he was like, when you watch Jose Otero's thing, they said, this can handle every micro SD card that is on the market right now that you can buy. They also came out later and said it can handle up to 2 terabyte. So
right. So the 2 terabyte is on an external USB drive.
That's not what they're saying.
That, Bobby, doesn't exist any bigger than 500 gigs on a micro SD. That's the biggest micro SD card you could get, and that would probably cost you hundreds of dollars.
I gotta look it up because I had the article.
I'm fairly certain. So I just want to
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to. I'm just. That's the way that the technology works. Is the USB external hard drive would hook up through the dock. That will be your 2 terabyte drive. On the Switch itself, micro SDs only go up to 512 gigs.
But you sure they're not there? But it's just not available to the public?
The capacity of the format says that it allows for 2 terabyte cards, but the biggest that's on the market right now is 512.
I get that. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is in the future when they do become available.
When you want to spend $1,300.
No, I get that. I'm not saying it's cost effective at all. But I'm saying in the future, when you want to buy it, when it is available, it's like a TV. TV first comes out as $5,000. Eventually, it comes down in price.
I am the opposite on this with you. Yeah. I think 32 is a mistake.
Well,
I think it's a big, big mistake
for digital people.
For anybody.
Why?
This is because games are huge now, Bobby.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Sean, they're on a cartridge. We're not dumping.
And digital,
but we're not dumping
say
on.
If you're digital, it's your own fault.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not. No. Wait. I'm not saying that at all.
You're not going to have enough space.
I'm not saying.
Like it.
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying that. What I'm saying to you is, yes, it's 32 gig, but it's not the issue that it is with PlayStation and Xbox. You're not dumping.
You don't have to install.
You're not dumping the cartridge onto the hard drive. So if I go and I buy Zelda that's 13 gig, that 13 gig is on that cartridge. It doesn't have to go on the hard drive. So I can play the game, and the only thing that's going to go on the hard drive is the save states. Now, if I want to go digital, you have 30. Now it's a problem. You have 32 gigs. It's enough to get you started and going, but you're going to have to upgrade. It's no different.
That's a problem.
Well, it's no different than anybody else. What solutions does anybody else have?
A bigger hard drive.
Because that bigger hard drive really helps you with a PlayStation 4?
Yeah, it's going to get you at least one game. So Zelda's 13, that's great, and I'm very impressed with Nintendo for being able to compress their games the way that they are.
Yeah.
But I put Steep on this thing. Can I fit Steep on this thing? I don't know. Can I fit FIFA? These get big games. Nintendo is the only one who can compress their games like the way they do.
Oh, absolutely.
Any other this is yet another sign that Nintendo doesn't care about third parties. And that's my major problem.
Yeah, but see, that's where I disagree. Because I feel like what they're and this is what I feel like they're trying to do is they're trying to push people to physical, not digital.
Yet another problem. That's against the trend. That's against the grain.
Is
That's
it?
a huge problem. Yes, people are definitely moving
you,
digital.
Not as many as you think. Not as many as you think. Like, in the United States, yes, we have better internet speeds and all that stuff. But we're not the only ones out there. Like, if you go talk to Alan Paxton about
I guess
trying
that's
to go...
why, like, GameStops are losing money hand over fist, because people are just buying way more physical, right? That's why that physical, like...
I think GameStop is having problems on a different level altogether. Doesn't have to. I think you go to Best Buy, you go to Amazon.
Not even an opinion, Bobby. It's objectively people are not buying as much physical as they are
in the United States.
They're moving digital
in the United States. In Europe, they're not. Go talk to Gary Gray. Go talk to Toby. Go talk to Alan Paxton. All these guys.
That's what they do?
No, because that's what the idea is over there is, one, they prefer physical to digital because they like the collector's pieces and all that. Mm-hmm. But two, they don't have the internet capacity to really download at quick speeds. Mm-hmm. Alan Paxton taking 5 years to download a game because it's ridiculous. The speeds that he's pulling on the internet over there. It's a little, in the United States, we're a little... Well, in North America,
I just think this is your fanboy coming out hard.
No, I don't feel like that.
You don't see that this is a problem. 32 gigs is a problem. It's so small.
Again, if you're downloading digitally, it's a problem. What games did you preload? Did you pre-order any games out the gate?
No, I will buy Zelda digital. I want.
You're gonna buy Zelda digital?
Yeah, because I want it always.
You don't want that collector's edition?
I want it on there always. I don't have enough stuff. I want.
That isn't even that. The soundtrack, the collector's case.
Yeah, I know it's all very nice.
I bought. Okay, so and maybe then it's just me because look. In the past, I was almost 100% digital for a very long time.
On my handhelds, I wanted digital. My phone is digital.
To go buy the 256 is expensive. That's like $200.
Yep.
But the 128 is only $40. To me, that's not a big deal. And maybe I'm just a jerk, and that's the way I view it.
So put it in there.
Huh?
They get a better deal than we.
Well, I'm just saying. For me, yeah, but is it an SD card they're putting in there, or is it an actually built-in hard drive?
I'm not sure.
I don't know because they didn't go over that. That's the stuff I feel like they should have gone over. Regardless, I look at it as 32 for me, and maybe that's where I'm screwed up because everything I went and I pre-ordered 7 games right out the box that are all going to come physically. I'm not worried about making this digital in the early stages. My feeling is I'm just going to buy physical for now. Zelda's probably going to sit in there forever, and it ain't no big deal to me. I'm not really worried about it. Now, do I decide later on to go digital? Probably. There's going to come a time, but at the end of the day, like I don't feel like because I'm starting out going physical, the 32 gig is a big deal to me. I don't feel like it's any difference of a big deal for me as compared to a Sony PlayStation 4 at 500 gigs. because you're dumping the discs.
But you want the same games on there.
But what I'm saying is you're dumping the discs. It doesn't, because with the Sony PlayStation 4, it doesn't matter if I buy physical or if I buy digital. I'm dumping the discs on, and I have to have bigger memory. Mm-hmm. So for me to only get 4 to 5 games on my PlayStation 4 is no different than what you're saying with this. So
sure.
That's where I'm saying, like, people are getting mad at Nintendo, but it's equal across the board. It's an equal playing field. When these companies all decide to go, we're going to impact and we're going to start off with huge memory, then I can go, okay, Nintendo, you're screwed up. But they're not. I had to go buy a 2 terabyte hard drive and install it in my PlayStation 4 because, by the way, I can't put an external hard drive on it. At least Nintendo's giving me other options that I can do other stuff. Does it suck? Is it perfect world? No. But at the end of the day, when I compare it to the other guys, they're not doing anything worse than what it is. The numbers is where people are getting skewed. 32. Mario Kart 8 isn't going to be 10 gig. It's going to be 5, maybe 6. So when you look at that stuff and you go, I have 190 games on my 2 terabyte hard drive for my Wii U, and it's not even halfway full. And that's not just Nintendo games. I have Assassin's Creed on there. I have Bayonetta on there. I have Xenoblade Chronicles on there. They're all massive games. And it doesn't even put a dent in what I have. 190 games because Nintendo games are so small. 32 on the outside looking in it's a garbage number, absolutely. But I feel like because of the cartridges and the cartridges not having to dump, I don't feel like it's as big an issue as people are. For someone like you that wants to go all digital, then yeah, it sucks. Hook up with Mark Carabin. He bought a 256 for $30.
That's crazy.
Go to youwish.com and you'll get them for cheap. Just saying. I get where you're coming from, absolutely. I just feel like because we're going cartridge based again, it's not that big a deal. And maybe I'm wrong, and I probably am wrong, but
you are. Yeah.
What else is new? I've been wrong all this week. I don't know.
What about Virtual Console?
What's that?
What about Virtual Console? Why didn't we get any news about Virtual Console?
That was a mistake. That's a huge mistake.
That was a big mistake.
That's a huge mistake in my book. See, that's where I differ. I feel like there's other things that were bigger mistakes than the 32 gig. 32 gig I don't give a damn about, and that's because it doesn't affect me personally. The Virtual Console, I feel like it's a big mistake. I have a boatload of games on Virtual Console. 1, can them games be transferred over? 2, if they can be, do I have to pay a fee for them? 3, when can I get them all?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because
if the answer to any of those questions is yes, why wasn't that part of the presentation?
Exactly.
Those are huge. Those are hot topics. Those are hot buttons for people. And if you say that, it's like, you've been listening. Thank you. Yes. I will buy this now.
And I'll give you another thing that I feel like is much bigger, that nobody's even talking about, that is far bigger than the memory size. And this is something that they didn't talk about, and I feel like it's a mistake. What happens to my digital library? If my Switch breaks, can I re-download all the games I had already?
Yeah.
That to me is bigger. That's the bigger. You shouldn't even want to buy a digital game until you know for a fact that if something happens to this thing, all my games I just bought are able to come back to me without jumping through hoops.
Yeah, is there an
assumption,
was there ever a time when that doesn't happen?
The 3DS. If your 3DS breaks,
that's right.
Yes, if your 3DS breaks, your games are not tied to your account; they're tied to the system. And if that thing breaks and doesn't turn on, you're done. I
think it's done now. I think it is now.
I think it's a little better.
Because it's tied to your My Nintendo account.
Well, okay, so you'll lose because they don't do cloud saves and things like that. So if you lose it, all your saves and all that stuff, they're shot, they're done, and that sucks. Like that's all stuff that should have been, to me, that's bigger than 32 gigs. That's
what that is,
and that's why I don't feel like
save thing. Yeah. That's why we need to pay for our online.
Yes,
because that's what that is. Fueling. That's what that revenue.
I hope so. Yeah, we hope so.
Is supporting cloud save. You can't just have servers just not paid for. That's why we pay for it. Like that's the thing that with PlayStation, Xbox, people often forget. Like that was the reason I actually signed up for PlayStation Plus way back in the day. I'm like, you mean I can upload my saves and then I can go somewhere else? Like that's when Chelsea and I were were first dating. She had her PS3 and I could play at my place. I could go over to her place and pick up the game. That was awesome. That was worth it to me. Then they threw on free games on top of that. Yeah. So I am excited for Nintendo to finally join cloud saves, digital ownership, all these things that we've come to know and love on not only just the PlayStation, but on our phones as well.
Now, you might be interested in this now that you are about to become a newly father. Did you see the parental controls?
I heard about them. I didn't look at this video. I'm glad it didn't make
amazing.
It didn't make the presentation, but yeah, I heard it's very impressive.
It should have made the presentation. I'm gonna tell you that right now because Nintendo is family oriented.
Yep.
And it should have made the presentation. It's literally a cartoon with Bowser and Bowser Jr. And it's going over. Bowser Jr. is playing a Switch. You can control the Switch via an app.
Yeah.
You can put in that you want your kid to play for an hour a day between these times. If they don't stop playing, you get an alert on your phone that tells you they've gone over the limit by this much. You can either go in the room and tell them to shut it off and let them finish, or you can click a button and it shuts the Switch down immediately. Yeah. That to me that should have been in the presentation, especially the way it's shown. It's cool, it's cutesy, it's very
quick,
Nintendo.
It's a couple minutes long.
It's a couple minutes long. That definitely should have been in the presentation. Nice. And I urge everybody to go watch that because that thing was just so cool to watch. It was just perfectly done. Yeah, I feel like they didn't really focus more on games. I feel like that was a mistake. I feel like the games that they showed just weren't. And I think a lot of that was because they were like, oh, we're going to Treehouse Live tomorrow. And that's where you can focus.
Again,
stuff.
Another mistake is relying on Treehouse. And this might be just me. I'm not a fan. That is not how I want to ingest and learn about the system. I who the hell has time to sit there for all hours?
6 hours. 6 hours. I don't mind. I like the Treehouse Lives when I'm off and I have the time to sit there and I'm not going to do anything and watch it.
That's not your lead.
No, and I think that what they do, if you want to make Treehouse Live better, you put a schedule out and go from this time to this time. We're going to talk about this game. You're just sitting there for hours watching, going, oh, what's next? I don't want to see. I don't want to see 1-2. I don't want to see 1-2 Switch no more. What's next? And then it's like they're just moving along, and they're trying to make it fun, but it's just not appealing to me. And overall, so I feel like they should pull more of that back because that's the problem. Like I saw Sonic Mania, I saw Bomberman or Super Bomberman, I saw Street Fighter, all there. I'm like, why am I watching this there? And I didn't even get to like the sizzle reel. That was
my problem with the presentation right afterwards.
Yeah.
It was that as we were talking about it, news is coming out.
Yeah.
And that, like, why then?
Yeah.
It should have been part of the presentation. Virtual Console could have flushed things out a little bit. Indie games could have flushed things out a little bit as well. That's how PlayStation and Xbox got around their low number of titles or the big titles. It's like, well, you've got all these other people making games, and here's a smash screen of like 30 seconds. We're going to show you 72 games.
Yeah.
Whatever the numbers are.
I agree.
So Indies was a miss. Virtual Console was a miss. The big boys were even a miss with EA, Activision, Ubisoft could have had. Show me Steep again. Steep is a cool game.
They only showed a quick clip. They showed a quick flash, and it was like, I saw it. I was like,
Wildlands.
Like I didn't know it was Steep.
I didn't. Awesome.
I never played Steep. I didn't know what it was. When I watched it, I was like, is that 1080? Like, what is that? Like, to me, I was like, what? Yeah, I was like, what is that? Like, it was in a sizzle reel, and I was like, they didn't even put titles up on the sizzle reels to go, that's what this game is. That's what this game is. Like, I felt like this presentation was just a mess. Yeah. Really.
I also would like to see them go over the 8-player. They just briefly talked about it. 8-player multiplayer, local multiplayer, is going to be madness. And it would have been really neat to see them show that. Yeah. What is like a 4-on-4 Splatoon match look like when you're next to the people? Like when you're just at a bench in a park or something. Mm-hmm. You have like a LAN party outside.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing ever. Or Bomberman, Mario Kart, all these different games. 8-player is insane. And just show me that that's an exciting time and that I can imagine myself doing that with my friends.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted out of this body.
Let's talk about...
You look exhausted.
I am.
It looks like this has been weighing on you ever since.
This week has been brutal, man.
You just need to relax, Bob.
I'm trying.
You got your pre-order in. You got all your games.
So that's what I wanted to say. So at the end of the day,
Just cheer up.
I ordered 2 of them. So I have 2 coming.
Yeah.
One for me, one
You're
for
gonna
Tony.
play it while swimming around in your pool of money in the back.
Stop.
Scrooge McDuck
Stop,
over here.
man. You know what? And I want you to now say what you told me and Toby off the air the other day.
Okay. So as soon as I called Bobby out on this, throwing all this money at these 2 systems, Bobby's like, "How many 3DS consoles do you have?" And I have many. That is true. I do have many. How long? Okay, so I want to say this, and I didn't get a chance to say this to you. How many years has the 3DS been out for?
No. Don't. And that's not even what I'm talking about. But that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the gift card that you had.
Oh, that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's giving me a hard time because he's got to pay this astronomical fee for this. And literally...
Please stop. Don't, because you're demonstrating again that you weren't listening.
I know. I'm just teasing. Relax.
I know. No, you're not teasing.
No, I am teasing now. I'm trolling you now. I'm trolling you back.
Well, it doesn't work because I just know you're not listening.
Whatever. I am listening. I know what your issues were. I listened to the thing back. I know what your issues were. But what I'm saying is afterwards... You were talking about, because I had said to you, like, well, it does suck that you have to pay $400. So you're like, well, I literally got a gift card here for half of that. And I was like, what? And you're like,
you know what else? You know what else we learned too, Bobby? EB Games is giving $150 for a Wii U.
So you don't have to pay for it.
If I traded my Wii U.
You're literally, no money is coming out of your pockets to buy this thing.
I don't know if I want to do that though.
I know but you have 2 of them.
I know, but if hers breaks, and I actually think they're going to be worth more than that.
Yeah, I would trade Tony's in. I will not trade mine in. I won't trade mine in because I have a bunch. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of games on it, so I'm not messing with that. Yeah. Hers, but I probably won't trade it in because it's like, no, that makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't like trading in hardware.
Yeah, really. I don't either anymore. But I did buy. So I pre-ordered 2 Switches. I went to GameStop the next morning with Miguel. I pre-ordered Joy-Cons, the color Joy-Cons, the cradle for them. I pre-ordered Has Been Heroes at GameStop. I pre-ordered Zelda, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8, Splatoon.
Did you get deals on that?
Yeah, I'm saving 20% on Amazon. That's
sweet.
That's the other reason why I go physical. And that's why I look at it and go, it makes no sense for me to go digital right now because I'm saving 20% on everything I buy through Amazon. I'm not getting anything on buying digital. It's a convenience to not have to carry it. But when I looked at it, I was like, I buy the collector's edition, Zelda. It comes with that cool Sheikah-looking tablet carrying case. They showed it on Treehouse Live when you open it up. It's got slots for all your cartridges. It's amazing. Cool. So I'm like... Yeah. That's all I need. I can carry my cartridges around with me. I'm fine with that. So that's why I look at it. Right now, to me, makes no sense to go digital other than convenience and not having to carry around cartridges. Because you're not getting, especially when I'm saving 20%. Like I told Miguel the other day, I'm like, dude, every 4 games I buy, I get a free game. Why wouldn't I want this? Makes no sense not to, you know? So that is all. That's what? All. What's a trade-in for you?
That's a trade-off for me.
Yeah, it's just convenience. But you guys don't get the 20% off of Amazon, do you?
We do now.
You do now.
We do now. Yep.
That's a big savings, man. When you figure every game you save $12, it's a lot of money, man. I'm not getting that by buying digital.
I just know it's just the way that I play. It's to the point where I will actually get more out of it by buying digitally because it's just going to be on there.
Well,
I don't want to have to go find it.
You don't have to go find it, and I get that.
There are games on my 3DS that don't get played enough because I'm just too lazy to go grab it and pop it in.
And that part I admit and I agree with you. You know, I just feel though when they did the Digital Deluxe program, I was buying up everything because I was getting a discount. Offer me something, man. Give me something. Because I'm sorry, my Nintendo is not that good right now. So maybe if my Nintendo starts to keep track and give me rewards or give me $5, just give me $5 back. That's all I need. I'm not asking for a lot. You give me $5 back and the convenience, and it's a no-brainer for me. But to pay $60 compared to $48 or whatever, no, I'm gonna buy physical all day long, and that's just the way I am. So that is all. Thank you guys for listening to us on We the Nerdy. PlayerFM.com. Go check it out. Check out all the other stuff there that they're doing. Comic books, video games, movies, television, all that good stuff. Subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or on YouTube. However you consume this podcast, we are greatly appreciative. Follow us on Twitter at If We Ran Nintendo. Peace out, Cub Scout.
Okay.
That is not your X and over, man. Come on.
Bye, Bobby.
Better. You're right.
The history of the royal family of Hyrule is also the history of the Calamity Ganon, a primal evil that has endured over the ages.
Tells me that you have no recollection of me, however.
I think you are now ready to hear what happened 100 years ago.
Everything I've done up until now, it was all for nothing.
Here it comes! You must save her, my daughter.
Open your eyes.